Divine Comedy, as Mr. Snipe told us, is a four-movement work based on Dante Alighieri's literary classic of the same name. The story of Dante's trilogy is basic. One day, Dante finds himself lost in the dark wood. Virgil, a character based on the revered Roman poet, appears and rescues him. Virgil guides Dante to a contemplation of hell and purgatory. Dante, having confessed his faults, and with Beatrice as his guide, is led into paradise and attains a glimpse of the face of God. The Inferno is the first of four movements in the Divine Comedy. Dante's vision of hell consists of 9 concentric circles divided into 4 categories of sin. The open melodic statement in the oboe represents the sin of incontinence. The next section is structured around the sins of violence, with its incredibly intense storms and fiery sands. The third section is a representative of the sin of hypocrisy. The composer describes the hypocrites as they file endlessly in a circle, clothed in coats of lead, which represent the weight of the hypocrisy of the earth. Musically, you will hear this represented by chains in the background. The final section of the Inferno features the sins of the treacherous fraud. As Dante enters this circle of hell, he hears the dreadful blast of a bugle. In this circle, Dante and Virgil are lowered by giants who are constantly pelted with bolts of thunder. From here, Dante and Virgil exit to the other hemisphere, thus leaving the fiery world of the Inferno. Ladies and gentlemen, the Inferno. Dante, having completed his journey through the Inferno, is brought by Virgil to the shores of the island mountain Purgatory. The mountain is comprised of 7 terraces, each representing one of the 7 deadly sins. In each terrace, sinners are given an appropriate penance, which is symbolically tied to the transgression on earth. The composer has woven together musical elements which depict each of the sins of the 7 terraces. For example, the sin of the first terrace is pride. The souls plod slowly around the mountain, bowed over by huge rocks on their back. As the composition develops, the sounds of lamenting souls dragging their heavy loads can be heard against the haunting melodic line. It is important to note that the souls of purgatory are often musical beings. They express their sensations in songs and hymns. As Dante and Virgil continue up the mountain, they feel the violent quaking at which all of the spirits proclaim, Gloria in excelsis Deo, which is to say, glory to God in the highest. Dante learns that the quaking symbolizes the completion of one soul's penance, allowing that soul to ascend in the Paradiso, for which all other souls give thanks. This is the second movement of the Divine Comedy, Purgatorio.